What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Austin Show. Today we're looking at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Speed Metal Wave. So this is a wave where we get a Build-A-Figure of the Darkest Night, which we can kind of see the figure down there, and some of his limbs. So in this wave we have 4 Flash-related characters that all look really cool. So first off, we have Wally West in his design where he has Dr. Manhattan's power, so he's kind of all blue like Dr. Manhattan. And then we have Garrick, so the original Flash, so it's cool to have him in this awesome design, part of like the Speed Metal, Dark Knights Metals thing. So those look cool. And then we also have Kid Flash, so an alternate version of Kid Flash with a different outfit that looks cool, as well as Barry Allen Flash himself in a different looking outfit that looks cool. So all these outfits are new and different, and they all look really cool. And then of course we get that Darkest Night build pieces, so we have all the black pieces in there. It's like a big giant creature that's going to look real cool with that head design. So this looks like a really cool wave that I'm excited to check out. So let me get them open out of the box, and we'll of course build that Build-A-Figure, and we'll take a look at them all together. So we're going to start off with Wally West, and this is just a repaint of the DC Rebirth version we did not too long ago. But from the Speed Metal storyline, while Wally was imprisoned by the Justice League, he was recruited by Tempest Fuginaut to protect the multiverse from the dark matter and purge it from the different Earths. And Tempest had Wally sit on the Mobius chair that had been infused with Dr. Manhattan's powers, that now made Wally a godlike omniscient being that was able to observe the timeline and tried to create a single coherent timeline from the fragments of reality. But the dark matter and the Batman Who Laughs had compromised the multiverse, and the Batman Who Laughs defeated Wally and stripped him of the Mobius chair powers, so he had to work to get his powers back. And so this, as mentioned, he gets imbued with the powers of Dr. Manhattan, so that's why he is all blue this time. At first I just thought it was like the Blue Lantern version of Flash, but then realized it's the Dr. Manhattan, and you can tell with the logo there on his forehead, he has like the little atom logo just like Dr. Manhattan on his forehead, and then that gave him powers beyond his speed of omniscience, cosmic awareness, precognition, energy projection, interstellar travel, reality alteration, and self-sustenance, so all just like Dr. Manhattan. And overall, I think this is really cool. Like, I love the colors. Of course, blue is one of my favorite colors, so getting a character in different blues, so the dark blue and the lighter blue, I just really like that. And then, of course, the look of Wally with the Flash, with his hair design, again, all just like the DC Rebirth, just recolored, so it's just all the blue now, and then it has that Dr. Manhattan logo, but we have the face of Wally with his hair all up, just like the last one. The same, like, lightning bolts on the side, and the silver, they look like a little bit bent up and misshapen there, unfortunately. And then all the silver lightning bolt designs and lightning bolt on his chest there, but everything else is exactly the same, so it's the exact same figure as before, just repainted blue. And like I said, with that blue color, I like it a lot more, so this is definitely my preferred version as compared to this DC Rebirth version that we looked at before. So again, it's the exact same figure, just the red and dark brown blackish color into the dark blue and light blue colors. So again, I definitely love this version much more just because of the colors. But we can do his movement, so his head can twist all the way around. You can look down that far and up that far, so not bad movements. The shoulders can come up to 90 and rotate all the way around. Oh, and he has that like butterfly joint in there. But we get a bicep twist, a little bit stiff, but it does twist. The double elbow joint that bends up that far, which isn't bad. The wrist can twist around and flex back and forth for the hand there. Of course, it's the ball joint, so you can just twist it around wherever and it'll flex. But then we get the ab crunch there, so upper ab crunch, and he's real smooth. Like in this crunch, it's like real smooth and easy to move, so he can crunch back and forth, and again, mostly back for these figures, unfortunately, but does there, and twist around as well, again real smooth. And then we have at the waist as well, so crunch back and forth and twist around there as well, so good crunching and twisting for him. But then we get the hips that can come up to 90 out to the side there, and just a little bit of movement back and forth, not much thigh twist or anything, but a double knee joint that bends up that far to the back. And then we get the foot that flexes back and forth, of course has the ball joint there, so it can flex back and forth, twist around there, and has the toe joint on the end. So it is the exact same figure, so nothing new or different movements or anything. Like I said, just smoother movements, especially in the ab crunches. But overall, like I said, color-wise and stuff, it just makes me like this figure the most. But we get accessories just like the last one. So we have the base we can pop him on if we need it, but he doesn't really have many issues. And just like the last one, we get some of the lightning effects. So we have this yellowish gray lightning effects, again, the exact same pieces. So we get all the exact same ones. So we have one for the back, for his foot we can peg him on, and the pieces that go in his arms and legs and stuff. So let's try and put these on. So there's the effects on him, and I like these effects more than like any other effects that the figures will come with, but unfortunately I don't like the colors of these, being like that grayish yellow color. I think they look kind of gross, like old and dirty. And then unfortunately our box was destroyed, like the inner plastic packaging was destroyed. The outer box was mostly fine, but the inner packaging was like super shrank down, like the sides were all curled and stuff. It was weird. So all the lightning effects are bent, so you can see there's like an angle to most of them, and almost all of them have a curve to them, so they were a little messed up there. But I think it looks pretty cool, you know, getting to try to pose up to look like he's running, at least doesn't really work out the best, but I think it still looks pretty cool. And then of course we have his card, so there's him all posed up from Speed Metal, and then on the back we've already went through all this, so there's nothing new to learn here. So it's the same as the DC Rebirth we've already looked at, so don't need to read through that. But I just, like I said, overall like this just because the blue color, I like that a lot. It makes me like this figure more than that DC Rebirth version, so with the blue it wins me over here, but overall it's just a decent figure. And next up, we've got Jay Garrick, which is a figure we've not seen before, so he looks really cool getting the original Flash. And when we see him in the Speed Metal storyline, he's guarding the Valhalla Cemetery with other surviving members of the JSA, and there he's reunited with Wally West and Barry Allen, who combine their powers to outrun the Batman Who Laughs, who now has the powers of Dr. Manhattan. And unfortunately, later in the story, he's killed by the fastest killer alive version of Wally West, but he ends up being resurrected at the very end when the multiverse is restored. But in the story, all the Flashes get powers imbued in them, so they all have weird and different looks to him. So normally in the story, you know, he looks like the normal Jay Garrick, but this is all the special power version, so he looks much like younger and cooler here. I love the overall look for him. You know, it's different from the classic Jay Garrick, which I would love to have, but just this version I think does look really cool. Like, I like this design, but I wish we would have a classic as well. But overall it looks cool. He still has his old metal hat, but it's got some more yellow designs on it with the yellow like lightning bolt designs there. He's got his face, which he has this like yellow lightning bolt painted down his face that, you know, connects like into a shirt design there, so I think that's cool. So just have that yellow paint in there, it looks pretty awesome. And then there's his face, and unfortunately with the design he's like bald headed, so he should have some hair, but he's bald headed in this. And then he's got the red shirt underneath, but again with that lightning bolt design, and I like how it's even got like a color that's tattered and stuff, maybe like supposed to come up higher onto his face, and it's now down and all tattered, but it still looks cool with even some red there up on the shoulders, so it's supposed to be like part of that shirt. And then he's got the blue vest over the top with some silver on it there, so nice details and, you know, designs into it. Bare arms going into these, got these gauntlet pieces, so nice silver gauntlets and red gloves. Blue pants going down with some chains there around his waist, so he's got just the chains, so it makes him look metal. The blue pants going into the knee pads with the spikes, and the coverings on his legs again with more spikes, much like the forearms, and then red boots there on his feet, so probably more like his standard boots. And I like those designs. They have a nice texture to them with some designs on the front there. So overall, like I said, it is a different look. It's not obviously the classic Jay Garrick, but I do like this design. It makes him look really cool. But we can do his movement, so his head can twist around. Should be able to twist, yeah, all the way around, but I thought the color would be more in the way and look down that far and up that far. So pretty good there. Then the shoulders come up to 90, of course, have that butterfly joint there, rotate all the way around. We get the bicep twist, double elbow joint that bends that far, so all the way up, wrist twist around, flex on the ball joint. So he still has the old style ball joints there, so yeah, just the same flexing. Then we get the ab crunch in the middle, so he can crunch back and forth, so mostly back once again, but crunch back and forth and twist, and it's pretty smooth there. And then crunch at the waist and twist around there as well. Then we get the hips that come up close to 90 out to the side there, little, pretty much no thigh twist, double knee joint that bends that far to the back, and then we get the foot that flexes back and forth, and it's got the old style ball joints, so flex back and forth, twist around there, and has the toe joint on the end. So the movements are overall going to be pretty similar between all these figures, so not going to see too much difference. They all are different bodies, so we will look at each one, but they're all going to be similar because that's just the standard McFarlane look. But overall, like I said, not too bad with the movements. Like, they're not the best movements ever, but it's not horrible either, and I like this design and look overall for him. But he comes with accessories, so of course we get the base we don't really need, and then he comes with some lightning effects, so we have the like clip-on lightning effects. Let's try and get these on him. So there's Jay with the lightning effects, and he just sort of clamp around on his legs and arms wherever you want. Again, I hate these because I never know exactly where to put them, but I just kind of stuck them where they felt most appropriate and tried to get him in like a running position. So overall, I think that looks cool. I like the yellow effects, you know, stands out with the body, so it adds a nice effect there. And then of course we have his card with the picture of him there, again from Speed Metal, and on the back Jay Garrick. And since we've never had him before, we'll go ahead and read this. So it says, in the 1940s, college student Jay Garrick acquired his super speed abilities in a random lab accident and became the first DC superhero to go by the name Flash. Years later, Jay was succeeded by police scientist Barry Allen until Barry's former kid partner Wally West took up the mantle at a time when Barry was considered dead. When Barry returned, he became the Flash once again. All three generations of speedsters have been cornerstone members of both the Justice Society and the Justice League. So there's more story there just on Jay. And overall, pretty good figure. Like I said, I love the look of him and stuff. It's cooler than the like normal Jay because it's pretty cheesy, but I would also love that classic version as well. But still a cool cool figure. And next up, we've got the Wally West version of Kid Flash, you know, an alternate version of Wally West that I think was introduced in like the New 52. But in the Speed Metal storyline, he was searching for the Teen Titans when he felt Barry, Wally, and Jay running through the Speed Force from the darkest night. So Wallace joined up with them and they ran into a horde of Dark Flashes trying to get back to the Mobius chair, and he fought alongside the other speedsters during the final battle. And overall, he looks pretty cool. Again, another alternate version where they get imbued with the powers when running from the horde, and so he looks a lot different. And we haven't looked at the actual Kid Flash version yet. We do have that figure coming. We just don't have it yet and haven't got to look at it, but he looks pretty cool here in this outfit design. So he's got the mostly all white top piece, so it's like a whitish light gray, so it's hard to determine what the exact color is, but with all the red all over it, looks really cool with this like translucent red design, and then the all black pants with more red, and then the whitish gray boots there as well with red on him. And then of course he is like an African American, so he's got the darker skin tone there with these like glasses on that have the like bolts coming out of them, which look really cool. Nice hair design there too with the lines cut into his hair. So overall he just looks really cool there. Nice texture to the suit, and like I said, the overall colors of the black and like whitish gray with the red details, and like I said, that translucent sort of red on the upper body, so the arms and up on his shoulders here with the lightning bolt there. So all that combination just looks pretty cool together. So he looks pretty nice just overall with this design. So we can do his movements, so his head can twist all the way around. He can look down that far and up that far. So again, not the best movements ever, but it's okay. Shoulders up 90 with the butterfly joint and rotate around. We get a bicep twist in there, double elbow joint that bends mostly up, not all the way though. Wrist can twist around and flex on the ball joint, looks like back and forth there. Again, normal ball joint. We get the ab crunches in the middle, so crunch back and forth and twist around. Now it's weird with his line, so he's got the red lines in the center and the red lines going up the side, and if you kind of move it up there, it can sort of like connect together, but you have to have him leaning back to do it. So if you just have him like leaning in a normal position, it kind of doesn't line up there, but yet the like back pieces sort of line up. So I don't know what's going on with this section, but then he has the crunch at the waist and twist around there. Hips can come up to 90 out to the side that far. No real thigh twist. Double knee joint though that bends up that far to the back. He can kick his own butt, and then the foot flexes back and forth, so he has these coverings so it doesn't allow the foot to move that much, so it can flex back and forth a little, twist side to side, and has the toe joint on the end. So he has some more movements, like especially with the knee that can bend all the way back and stuff, but you don't really need too much more movements with the Flash as long as you can get him into a running like position. Now, unfortunately for him, he is one of the hardest ones I have issues getting to stand up, so we'll definitely have to put him on the base. And then he comes with lightning effects, so much like Jay, but he has the translucent red versions, but he also comes with this cool like chest piece version that we can slide onto his chest. So let's try and get all this on him. So there's all the lightning effects on him, and again, it was hard to figure out and get some of these lightnings, especially like the arm pieces. They're just designed all weird, and then the chest piece doesn't really stick on him too well, so it keeps like kind of sliding up and off of him. So I'm trying to get it stuck on there and trying to figure again this all out. Got him in a run position there, but I think he looks cool. Like I said, I like the colors and stuff, but I think I probably prefer the normal version of Kid Flash much better, just because I just don't think all this stuff works as good together. But I do like the colors a lot at least, so it's not like it's bad or anything. And we have his card, so a nice picture of him there. And since we've not looked at Wally West before, we'll read his card. So it says, the latest in the long line of speedsters, Wally West does not take the mantle of Kid Flash lightly, even when it makes him question everything about himself. Struck by the Speed Force lightning thanks to some truly mind-bending issues with the timeline, Wallace was given his powers and put on the radar of Barry Allen, who took him under his wing, or at least he tried to. If there's one thing Wallace learned very quickly, it's that being a speedster isn't something you can be taught overnight, even by the fastest man alive. So there's just a generic story there for Kid Flash. And overall, like I said, not a horrible figure, but I think I would probably prefer the original one much better. There's just something off about this that doesn't make me like as much, even though I love the colors and everything. So just something weird about this version itself, where when we finally get the normal version of Kid Flash, I'll probably like that one more, but not a horrible figure. And our final main figure is the Barry Allen version of Flash. And this 3-1, and again in the Speed Metal storyline, he tried to go back in time to undo the rise of the Batman Who Laughs, but he ended up failing, and he eventually met up with Jay and Wally at the Valhalla Cemetery, where they fled being chased by the darkest night. And Barry ends up sacrificing the last of his Speed Force to give Wally a boost for him to make it back to the Mobius chair. So again, this is the version of Flash when he gets imbued with the powers as well. So he has this all black outfit with the red design, design. So it has the red logo on his chest, red lightning there around his belt on like the knees and stuff, and then these lightning like paint down his arms as well to have some little like effect bolts coming out there as well, with the red bolts up on his ears and everything. So he just looks really cool. This is definitely a cool looking version of the Barry Allen version of Flash, but again, it's not that classic version, so I don't like it as much, but it still looks cool with all the nice leather details and stuff and designs going all throughout the body. That's one thing they did really nice on these figures. Just overall, I don't like the look just nearly as much, but he still looks really cool. But for his movements, his head can twist around. He's real stiff in the head there. Can twist around, look down that far, and look up that far. So again, about the same. Shoulders up 90. Have that like butterfly joint that doesn't really do much here, but can rotate around. We get the bicep twist, double elbow joint that bends all the way up there. Wrist can twist around and flex on the ball joint. So he hasn't mounted like the blended in joints. So this is a newer design figure, so it's hard to show. So it's not just the normal ball joint. Still works exactly the same, just not the perfectly round ball. It's got some details in it. Of course, can't get the wrist to move it to show it to you there. And then we get the ab crunches, so upper ab crunch, crunch back and forth, crunch back, twist around there. And then we have the waist crunch as well, so crunch back and forth and twist around there. Then the hips can come up under 90 out to the side there, not far from doing the splits. No real thigh twist, yeah, even worse thigh twist. A double knee joint that bends up that far to the back, which isn't bad, not too far off. And then we get the ankles that can flex back and forth. And again, he has the coverings that come down, so you don't really get much movement back and forth. Can twist a very little side to side there, and has the toe joint on the end. So again, another new figure here, different body design stuff, but still relatively overall the same sort of movements. And for accessories, he comes with the base, but I don't have any issues with him. And then he also comes with the same sort of a lightning effects that we had before, just in more of like an orangish red color, so there's a little bit of tint to it, but we can try and put this on him. So there's Barry with the lightning effects, and I think they look pretty cool. You know, they're pretty big and like thick effects and stuff, and they stick on easier than like especially the Wally West did there. But overall, I think he looks pretty cool there. I like the black and red with the lightning effects coming off, looks pretty cool. And then just to show, here's the last Barry Allen we had, so the DC Rebirth version of him there, and just like more of his normal outfit and stuff. Not really any comparisons, they don't look enough alike and pretty different, so didn't really need to show that, but just want to show we did have another version of Barry Allen already, so pretty decent design overall. And then we do have his card there, of course, and on the back we've already read about Barry Allen multiple times, but still just a pretty decent figure. And that brings us to the Darkest Knight Build-A-Figure, which is really cool. It's a very nice big figure. He's really tall, so I have to show you kind of like, you know, compared to the size of the other characters. But he's really tall, but he's also with his design sort of hunched over, so he's not nearly as tall as he could be. But it's all big. It's this all like blackish purple. It's actually purple, but it's, so, you know, kind of looks black just with the thickness of it. But you can see the translucent through like the hands and the little like tendrils coming off and everything. So it's mostly all this purple like see-through color. The head probably looks more solid, so it's like more of a solid like black color there, but like the ears up on top are more see-through and stuff. And so it's just this big creepy body. It reminds me of like the monsters from the Scooby-Doo live action movie, but overall it looks pretty cool, like I said, with the purplish like see-through and the tendrils and just how big it is. It looks pretty awesome. But the Darkest Knight is actually the Batman Who Laughs that had its brain transplanted into a lobotomized version of Bruce Wayne that went through an accident that granted that body the powers of Dr. Manhattan. So he changed his form to become a being of pure darkness, but was eventually killed by Wonder Woman during the final battle by being thrown into the sun. So it's actually the Batman Who Laughs here, like I said, just with the powers of Dr. Manhattan and turned into this being of all darkness and stuff. So it looks pretty cool. And of course, if you don't remember, the Batman Who Laughs here is that figure there. So it goes from this, the Batman Who Laughs, into this Darkest Knight version. And like I said, he looks really cool with the translucent purple design. Like I said, it's all sort of hunched over, like the knees don't bend straight. So this is as straight as they go. So they're sort of hunched there, and his back is hunched and sort of bent down. So it's, like I said, actually taller than it looks here, but overall it's just a nice awesome design. But we can do the movement, so his head can twist all the way around, look down that far and up that far, so nice decent movements there. It looks like the mouth moves just a little bit, so it just crunches back and forth there. And I like the like white and like yellow design, so it's all white but has yellow around it, just like the eyes do as well. So white in the center with yellow all around it, so it adds some nice details in there. But then we have the shoulders that can come up about to 90 there and rotate all the way around. We get a bicep twist, a double elbow joint that can bend all the way up on itself, so literally all the way up on itself, so that's really good, with a wrist that can twist around and flex back and forth. Now this doesn't have have the normal like McFarlane ball joints. This has like the classic joints, more like Marvel Legends and everything. So that's pretty nice. And then we get the ab crunch. So he's got an ab crunch in the middle. Crunch is mostly forward, like barely back at all. It's just pretty much where it was. So crunch is forward there and can twist around. And I assume it's the same for the waist. It's hard to move. So it crunches back and forth there. And I'm trying to get it to twist. Yeah, it's pretty stiff, but it does twist there as well. The hips can come up a little, just a little bit back and forth, out to the side there. Has some nice twisting. So it has a nice thigh twist. So it can twist all the way around there. Oh yeah, you can get some really nice twisting. So pretty good movements. Then we get, like I said, that double knee joint. That's as far straight as it goes, but we can get it to bend, and it can pretty much bend all the way back on itself as well. So pretty much as far as it'll go kicking itself. And then we get the foot on those old joints as well. So not the ball joints. So it can rock back and forth. So go that far down, that far up. So pretty good range in there. Has a nice twist as well. So can twist side to side and still has the toe joint on the end. So there I got him trying to stand up as tall as he possibly can. And we'll bring in that Batman Who Laughs once again. So you can see that height difference there. So the Batman Who Laughs is just your standard like 7-inch McFarlane figure. So you can see just how tall it is. So it's probably getting definitely up to 10 inches there. So it's definitely a big character. So nice for a Build-A-Figure and stuff, where you get a big tall character to go along with it. So pretty nice overall, just having this Batman Who Laughs version, or the Darkest Night version here. That looks really cool, and how we see him at the end of the Speed Metal storyline and everything. So it looks pretty cool there. Well, there's all our McFarlane Speed Metal wave, where we got the 4 Flash characters of Wally West, Jay Garrick, Wallace West, and Barry Allen, as well as the Build-A-Figure of the Darkest Night there as well. So pretty cool set where we got 4 Flash characters, or the pretty much main 4 Flash characters. So it's cool to have all those. Of course, they're not in their classic looks, which would have been even cooler, but having them in this designs where they, from the Speed Metal with the alternate uniforms and stuff is all pretty cool still. Like I said, I would wish more for the classic, but having them in these forms is really cool. And then of course that Darkest Night figure there in the back is just something new and crazy and different and pretty cool to have for a Build-A-Figure. So he just looks awesome there in the background, and just how tall he is. So very cool wave overall in my opinion. So as I said, the looks aren't the best, just because I prefer more originals. And then of course they're Flash characters. As I mentioned in the past, the Flash isn't like my favorite thing, so I don't really care too much overall for these characters, but I still think they are pretty cool. But let me know what you thought of this wave down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know with a thumbs up. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.